Can you love another if you don't love yourself? Of course you can't love another if you don't love yourself. How can you possibly be worried about somebody else if you don't have the tools to treat the first person in your life well? However, there's good news over here, and that is that when the Torah discusses love, the Torah says, thou shalt love thy neighbor, and then it adds a magic word, as you love yourself. The Torah doesn't say love yourself and then learn to love your neighbor. The Torah says love your neighbor, that's the commandment, as you already love yourself, that's the assumption. We have self-love. What we've done is we've created habits and patterns that have disconnected us from our innate self-love. We're going to run through a bunch of behaviors and patterns that many of us do and that really gets in the way of our own self-love. And I want you to pick one, just pick one that you do, and pick the suggested alternative behavior, and see if over this month, by following the instructions, you can minimize this contradiction to self-love. Okay, I abuse my body. Okay, people do this very often, and we're not kind to ourselves very often, and then we get into like you're just not expecting to feel love. So if you abuse your body, obviously you know you shouldn't, but in the meantime, at least do something kind to thank your body. If you're taking yourself to the gym, then buy yourself an ice cream. If you're working too hard, then schedule some nap time, get yourself something nice, give yourself a massage. Do something to counter how much pressure you put on your body that says thank you to your body. I have bad self-talk. Very often we say things to ourselves, and I get caught because I have children. So if I say something like, oh, I'm so stupid because I forgot to take something out of the oven or whatever, my kids will like correct me. They'll say, Mom, you're not stupid. And I'll say, I know I'm not stupid. But you said you're stupid. I'm like, I didn't mean I was stupid. What I meant was it was stupid to take it. But we do this very often to the point where we start to believe ourselves. A lifetime of I'm so stupid, you start to believe it. So when you hear yourself saying something negative, out loud, offer a correction. I'm not so stupid, I'm just distracted. I'm not a failure, I'm learning. Out loud, offer a contradiction that's easier on you till you learn to replace negative self-talk with something a little bit more compassionate, I guess. I don't believe in myself enough. Okay, I love this one because people who really don't believe in themselves don't realize that they don't believe in themselves. Okay, they just think that what they're believing is true. When people feel that they don't believe themselves enough, what it means is they understand already that they should believe in themselves more. So I don't believe in myself enough actually is, or I don't believe in myself, that being frustrated by how little you believe in yourself is already an indication that you need to believe in yourself more. That's self-love. Okay, I wasn't told I was loved. So I'm sorry. Kids ought to be told that they're loved. It builds the core, and it's very painful when people weren't. But what people didn't do is not an excuse for what we do. And if we haven't been told by the people who are responsible for our self-building that we were loved, that they love us, then we need to take over that process and say, okay, that happened, and that was them not taking their responsibility seriously, but I'm taking over the responsibility. I'm going to give myself the love that I need, even though the people who should have didn't. I hate a part of my body. You're thinking, one part? Okay, how many parts you want? So the body is there to serve as a function. Our noses are there to smell, not to look pretty. Our mouths are there to taste and to eat and to speak. Our teeth are there to bite. They don't have to be perfect. Our eyes are there to see. They don't have to be blue or whatever your preference is. We have learnt to value our body for what society has told us it needs to look like without really paying attention to the fact that bodies are there for a function. So if there's a part of your body that you don't like, focus on the function. If you hate your feet because they're too big, love your feet because they walk you everywhere. If you hate your ears because they're the wrong size, then say thank you to them because they listen for you every day, even though you're mean to them. Focus on the function. It'll give you a better relationship with your body parts. The voice of a parent is in my head. Nope. The voice of a parent is not in your head. The voice of a parent was in your head, and now it's your voice proliferating, your parent's voice. If you have a voice that is telling you things that are negative, they are not in the room, they are not talking to you. The voice is in your head, but it's your choice to not proliferate that. So when you hear it, treat it as a thought. Okay, here it is again. It's just disguised. It's my thought. It's just disguised as my mom or my teacher or my brother or so okay. Oh, it's gone. Okay, thoughts are just thoughts. Don't give them more power than they deserve. I'm too harsh on myself. Okay, it's okay to be harsh on yourself. As long as when you are being harsh on the things that you've done wrong, you're also taking credit for the things that you've done right. When we only focus on the things that we're not doing enough of, then we really fall into bad patterns. But if we could say, yeah, it's true that I didn't get to my thesis, but I did do well on my exams, so we can actually create a balance in terms of how we're overall judging ourselves. I'm anxious. Yep, we get anxious, and I'm not talking about clinical anxiety over here, but when we get very, very, very overstressed, our thoughts go crazy, our heart rate goes up. If you find yourself having negative thoughts when you're very stressed, simple exercise is identify those moments and take 2 minutes to breathe, really. Okay. It slows you down, it slows your heart rate down, it slows your mind down, it slows your stress down. And then you can recalibrate. So when you're having anxiety moments, take time to breathe. I focus on my weaknesses. Your weaknesses are the flip sides of your strengths. If you're disorganized, it's also because you're chilled out. And if you are, forgetful, it's also because you have a wonderful imagination. And if you are oversensitive, it's also because you're amazing at paying attention to detail. You can work on your weaknesses, but recognize that they are sourced in your strengths and give yourselves credit for that. And recognize that there's advantages to our weaknesses. I'm self-obsessed. You're thinking self-obsessed? I thought it was about lack of self-love. Yeah, low self-esteem brings self-obsession. If all you can think about is you, it's because you're clamoring to give yourself something because you're in such a bad place. Do something kind for others. It'll take your mind off yourself and naturally make yourself feel better about yourself. And I can't say no. Don't say no. Say not now. It's a great way to build our ability to protect ourselves from being overloaded by people who demand too much. Have a wonderful, wonderful month. And remember, self-love is innate. We just got to get back to it. We've got to get those bad habits out of the way. And then we'll find that it was there all along.